Welcome to my bench today, and today I have an acoustic bass guitar made by Ibanez. There's your model number. You have to memorize that. Ibanez is one of the worst companies for model numbers and serial numbers. Look at that model number. What model of Ibanez do you have? It's black, right? I don't know. I don't get it. It's confusing. Fingerboard, very, very well worn. I don't think this thing has ever been treated with oils, probably since the day it was born. Strings are totally dead. I mean, they sound, but it's gonna get a new set of earthwood acoustic bass. This again is an Ibanez, and check this out. The string is wound in the wrong direction. The string is going up, and there's virtually zero break angle at that string. That is why you should wind your strings in a downward motion to get a break angle over that nut. The nut looks like it's in pretty good shape. Haven't done much inspection on this. You're kind of inspecting it with me for the first time. And saddle, very dry, or bridge is very dry. Need to treat that with some linseed oil. We're going to clean and polish the frets, clean the fretboard, treat that with linseed oil. Now, one of the big reasons she brought this in is that the electronics do not work. I can turn the tuner on. I wonder if they let the battery go dead. Batteries. But I did inspect this a bit earlier. And there's a screw missing. Oh no. But this one is just kind of flopping in the breeze. And there's a nut missing off of the output jack. Who knows what somebody did. I think she said that she had someone else look at this. You know, and to return it to her in that condition, that's pretty tragic. If it was a buddy or a friend or something like that, you know, I get it. But boy, you got to keep track of this stuff. If you're working on your own instruments, boy, get a little bowl or a plastic bag or something. Put all their parts that you remove in it, and that way they won't get lost. All right, folks, a little bit of work to do on this bad boy. Hopefully I'll get it done today. Depends on how busy I get. Right on? Peace. All right, so I've pulled out the other screws that I can get to pull out of here. And typical Ibanez fashion, magnetic screwdriver. Oh, and I'm making the mistake of doing what somebody else probably did, putting the screws in a cup or a plastic bag, something to keep them, all the parts together. So we've gotten this loose. I'll have to try and repair the hole there. It's drilled through the side of the router where they routed out for the electronics to go. And I wonder, okay, let's see what's going on here with the connections to this. Oh, gee, I wonder why the preamp doesn't work. Huh, somebody cut the power wires to it. That's smart. Boy, okay, I'm gonna have to get myself in a position where I can find those wires. I'll pull them through, repair those, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Hang on, I'll be back. All right, well, here is the output jack. It's an output jack, it's not an input jack. This is the XLR end, look at that. This one is also loose, and the third pin is still fastened to the output jack connection. The solder joint on this one is cracked. You can probably see that wobbling in the breeze. I can get my phone. I'm not going to pull it out of there because it's staying put, but I am going to resolder these two. I'll use my device here to hold on to that, and that should use the weight of the jack to hold that in place. And we'll take a little piece of solder and Let's see if I can get that better framed for you. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to retouch this one. Just a little bit of solder. Ooh, got a little crazy there. Okay. Those two are now soldered and have a good, strong, confident solder joint. There we go. Wanted to reheat that. It just didn't look great. Now, let's see if I can't. I don't know if that bad boy is glued in there or what. Okay. So the process of repairing these electronics is underway, and gonna have to get creative with respect to getting this back together again correctly. Okay, so we have this connection that goes like so. Okay. Now, one really important part of this is that little blue button right there that actually turns the power, I believe it turns phantom power on to the XLR jack if you're running phantom power from a mixing console. Well, there's this beautiful, oh, how's my elbow? You like my elbow? All right. Okay. This little, whew, Butterfingers. I haven't been able to hold on to stuff as good as I used to. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm working out so much. I'm just too strong, just pinch it right out of my fingers. All right, there's this little bushing. It goes in here, right there. And then the jack fits into the circuit board. Oh, let's do this correctly. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let the tail wagging the dog. Alright, so everything aligns and looks good. Right? Okay. Now, I need to solder up the one joint on this circuit board. And I'm going to see if my little handy dandy holder will hold this up for me. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I did that and you didn't see it. I soldered that joint right there. I've attached a couple of new wires to the circuit board from the battery, and I will solder these two, red and black, red being positive, black being negative, to the terminals on the board. The old, down in the interior of that, plus and minus. Hopefully you can see that. B plus, B minus. Yeah? Okay. I'll have that done here shortly. And now, by the miracle of time-lapse photography, the B plus and B minus wires are hooked from the battery compartment to the terminals that supply power to the output jack, and everything is reassembled properly, and it all looks good and solid. Now, time for a new nut. Yeah, a new nut on the output jack. Let's do that. Alright, so now we've gotten everything all soldered up and reconnected and hopefully electronically repaired. The output jack for the XLR goes in there and plugs in perfectly, and you can see the little blue switch right there. When we push the XLR cable in, it activates the power. And a new nut on the output, 1/4-inch output jack. Now, the test of the day. These little harnesses are not easy to get in and out, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. We're going to plug that back in. Made a connection. And let's see if the tuner works. Oh my goodness, look at that. The electronics are back in business. Alright, so we have replugged in our harness here for the pickup and the controls. This will send electricity and power and everything to the controls of the unit. We have hooked the bass guitar up to an amplifier here, and we'll fire up the tuner once again, and we'll watch the lights go. Yeah, alright, so we got power now. There's no phantom power run to this. With the tuner on, pickup's muted. That's awesome. And when we turn the pickup off, or the tuner off, tuner mute, tuner on. So, I have no idea who did what to this instrument, but it's fixed. We're going to put it back together, going to put strings on it, clean it up, blah, do the whole 9 yards. I love it. Get the full Monty setup. Woo, I'll be back. Well, hey, we're getting ready to polish, or not polish, I've already polished the frets, but we're getting ready to clean some of the guck off this fingerboard. And I can already see the debris, DNA, in my face. Look at that, just instantly gets brown. Oh, this is going to look so nice when it's done. I have polished the frets. I usually polish the frets before I clean the fretboard. That way I can get any debris or excess guck off the fingerboard that comes off with the polishing compound that I use. It's my homemade polishing compound because, you know, I have materials at my disposal that are found in the wilderness, in the wonderful area that I live, that I can use to make a polishing compound that is unlike any other, and it works great. Look at how brown that is. In the money pit up here where everybody plays the instrument, boy, there's a lot of guck in there. You can see it, just all the debris, all the DNA coming off those frets, or the fretboard, the fingerboard. Really cool to see it. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? We'll go back down this direction, see what things are looking like. Love my toothbrush. I brushed my teeth with it this morning, and you know, it still does a good job cleaning my teeth, even after all this goo is on it, you know. All right, let's just see after one pass what the difference is. Wipe the debris off the back of the neck first so that we don't get any sticky goo on there. Oh yeah. And you know, the wood, I don't think this wood has ever been treated with any type of oil. Probably not. The lady that owns this bass is a fairly new player. You know, she hasn't been playing that long, and you know, to be honest, she probably doesn't have a clue what it means to have a bass set up in a professional manner. And to be honest, her husband brought this bass in for her. So now you can actually see the wood grain in the wood. It was completely covered with just DNA. There it is. Yeah. Yummy. All that came off this fretboard. fingerboard, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So, give it one more little wipe down. I know I'm not out in the picture right at the moment. And I'm going to take a nice clean rag and get some of the debris off the frets from the cleaning. Get them shining again after they've been polished with 2000 grit sandpaper, and now with my and then with my homemade polish, fret polish. Works great on the polish I use. I would say that it's very similar to what car polish you might buy for Meguiar's or something like that. You know, I'm able to make my own by collecting materials in my area. It doesn't take much, and it's not hard to find, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Peace, I'll be back oiling this bad boy. Yeah, alright. Time to bring this baby back to life. This is, as you all know, one of my favorite things to do to an instrument. Treat the wood with some oil and bring that stuff back to life. Oh, this is going to be so nice. She's going to love looking at this instrument again. It was really pretty disgusting looking when it got it here. Linseed oil, you wipe it on, you wipe it off. And that's literally all you got to do. I do not use boiled linseed oil. I don't use the boiled stuff. I allow this stuff to dry. Got to give it about 24 hours to dry. And it keeps the bad stuff out, keeps the good stuff in, and it's a long, durable life. Something that should be done about once a year if you're not playing a ton. If you're playing a ton, if you're a touring musician, you might want to do it every 6 months if you're playing your guitar every single day. Who does that, right? I do. And just one little wipe over this saddle. Look at how that just comes right back to life. All that wood, that beautiful wood grain. And that's just the excess that I wiped from the neck. Now, I'm going to clean the rest of this guitar. This guitar belongs, or bass guitar, I should say. This guitar belongs to a lady, so she will get my special guitar polish that just smells amazing. It's called Love Potion number 9. Love Potion for the ladies. I don't use it on boys' guitars. Yes, you can call me sexist. Yeah, whatever. Alright. And now, both ends of this guitar, or it's a bass, are back alive. There it goes. Alright, we're about ready for, we're dang close to strings. I'm going to polish this thing so when you see it again, it will be nice and shiny. Alright, so we're back with the Ibanez black bass, which is a fingerprint magnet. It's one thing I despise about black instruments. But this instrument was strung up by someone that does not know how to put strings in the slotted machine heads. Here's what they look like. They have a slot in the top. There's a low E string. What I do is I pull the string past one and the length of about 2 distances between these machine heads. Now these are quite a bit further apart than an electric bass, so I'm just going to go 1.5 and do my dreaded trick by cutting the string off right there. Now the string goes down into the center. There's a hole in the center of this split in the heads, or in the machine head, and that's where that end is supposed to go. Wrap the string around it in the correct direction And now your windings go in a downward direction rather than an upward direction. This bass is going to stay in tune far better than it ever has with the strings the way they were. I don't have my handy dandy string tightening tool out right now, so I'm just going to do it by hand. I'm okay. I'll survive. I'm strong. I exercise. I eat right. I'm not worried. And now that's how you change a string with this style of machine heads, which is classic on a Fender basses. Many basses have this style with the split in the top. Again, the string goes down in the middle, pokes down in there, and then the string winds around the machine head. Now you know. Now, one more thing that I've done to this bass to help improve the quality of it is I tightened the nuts on all the machine heads. They were all very loose. And then at the end of the knob, there is a little screw in there, and those were all very loose. It does, with these loose, the machine head can spin very easily, but you want them, you know, to the point that they don't wobble. These were actually wobbling, the handles were. So, you know, and just another little service that we do to help make an instrument better, hopefully better than new. And one more thing that we're doing, here are the pegs for the strings to hold the strings in place. You notice the end of that's just flat as a pancake. Take that on the slot on my handy dandy sandpaper and sand off an angle on the end of that so the ball end of the string doesn't snag up on the base of the pin, and it gets pinned against the top of the guitar as it should. And that's about all it takes usually, something like that. And now when we put the string in the instrument, here at this end, the string doesn't snag up, you know, on the pin. Yeah. Alright, so now it's time to do the setup on the instrument, and we're going to check the neck relief. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Oh boy. 7th fret. Boy, I'm not going to touch that. That's perfect. Wow. Okay, that's great. I tweaked the truss rod a little bit with the old strings on it. Made a good call. Proactive. Preemptive strike. Well, rightio, the Ibanez bass. Look at that, all shiny. I left a little nick down there. I said a bad word. It's not a bad word. I left a little nick down there alone. If she wants to take a Sharpie to it, she can do it. The guitar is set up, neck relief at 12 thousandths. String action here at the 12th fret. I've set it at the 12th fret, not the 17th. 6/64ths on the low E, and 5/64ths up here on the top G of the treble G string. And the thing plays plugged in. Mind you, the electronics are all fixed in this bad boy. New strings, tuned up, stretched out, first fret action. They did a great job at the factory setting up the nut, unless somebody else has done some work on it. It doesn't appear that they have. No fret buzz. Just a really great sounding acoustic bass, and my hope is that the lady who owns this will play it lots and continue playing. These strings, you'll notice how clean and crystal clear those strings are wound on those machine heads. The tuning stability has been improved greatly. Cleaned up the guitar. Man, it was a mess. repaired a screw, have all the electronics back in it, and it's ready to go home. I'm just walking a bass line random. I cannot play bass.